excited to be here. And we have the fabulous Jessica Addison with us here today. And we are representing the staff of Atlanta Sex Therapy today. So, and today I'm so excited. We're going to talk about, can a sexless marriage last? And so, and I have so many answers. It's like yes and no. And then what is sexless and why are you sexless? And then why continue to be sexless? So that's a lot. Okay, Jessica, how you doing today? And then jump in on what's your answer? Can a marriage be sexless?
I'm doing good. And to answer the question, I do feel like a marriage can be sexless as long as you get to the core of why you are sexless. What different areas do you want to explore so you can have a very complex marriage or relationship and explore different elements of yourself to get you guys closer together. So it's not one sided. It's not just the physical. Because a lot of times we are so gun ho on sex, and sex is it's important, but there's so many other layers that contribute to intimacy, feeling connected, to where if you don't have these parts covered, sex is not going to be meaningful.
Hmm. Yeah, and I want to talk about, I want to break down what a sexless marriage can look like and how are we defining sex?
Mm.
So first of all, if both parties are, yeah, I don't feel like having sex, I don't want to have sex, that's not part of this relationship. If both parties are like, or have that understanding, and this is like a compassionate marriage, or I'm sorry, not compassionate, that's the word, companionship. We just decided to get together for the companionship and sex was never part of it. Then that's a marriage that's going to last because sex was never a part of it. But if we got together expecting that this was going to be my only sexual outlet, then yes, that marriage is going to have problems if one party has decided. And so what happens when they come into our practice, what has happened is one party has decided, I'm not going to have sex, and the other party isn't on board with that. And I get that sometimes there's a reason, like it's not very often somebody wakes up, you know what, I decided I'm never gonna have sex with my partner again. I just decided. It usually doesn't happen like that. Usually there's some anxiety, fear, sometimes pain, sometimes medical issues, sometimes a lot of insecurities, and they kind of start shutting down, but there's never a conversation. And
Yeah.
so when that happens, that's when the marriage is in danger. Because oftentimes, and Jessica, I think you've seen this, the party who is still wanting to be sexual and doesn't know all that those pain, insecurities, fears, anxiety is going on, they just feel rejected.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. And they just feel like, okay, it must be me. And so then it goes to really what their morals and values and convictions are. And so there are a lot of people, men and women, who are like, I don't want my children to grow up um, without both their parents in the household. So I will stay here until my children leave this household and then I'll leave. And some people then decide I'll get my sexual needs met somewhere else outside of the household because that's not something that's going to that's not available, no longer available to me in this relationship. And so I think that for any marriage, I think that's dangerous because human beings are human and they become attached. And the older you are, the easier it is for you to become attached to people. And if you start sleeping with somebody, you will probably become attached to them. So when you're in your early 20s or 20s, or sometimes 30s and even I think 40s, you can find multiple sexual partners willing all the time. When you get a little bit older, you don't want multiple sexual partners. You want one partner that's going to consistently have sex with you. Like we like to get into like a comfortable zone, right? And so I remember like dating in your 20s feels fun and oh, I love going out. Dating in your 40s and 50s don't feel like that. Like it doesn't feel like that. I was just laughing because we're getting ready to do a family reunion. Oh, by the way, we won't be here next week because I'll be on 4th of July vacation next week. And so all my little cousins were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out. I ain't trying to go out. Like I like the idea of going out for what? Like after I've been walking around Washington D.C. all day long. And so I just want couples to realize who they are now and what they're asking. And so to pick up a new sexual partner later in life and it just remains sex, it takes a lot of navigating. And I don't know if a lot of people have that amount of time, effort, and energy to put into that, and then for it not to become comfortable and more of a thing. So, all right, out of all of what I just said, what sounded like, what do you want to jump in and say? What's coming up for you?
Say when you hear sexless, a lot of people want to figure out what's wrong, but it's just you're not feeling it. And then sometimes it could be the reverse effect. You could be so committed in your 20s or your 30s, so
Mhm.
where now you just want sex.
Mhm.
So it well, if you like it, I love it. Okay. But you you bring meaning to sex. Sex doesn't bring meaning to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who have been so gun-ho on sex, when they come into our office, we don't get straight to the physical. We work from the inside out. So all the
Mhm.
things that you guys are covering in a sexless marriage, you guys are already doing the work.
Yes.
So look at it in a positive aspect.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And then I want to talk about, okay, let's say it's sexless because there's um a couple of things could be going on. So with women, it could be some type of vaginal pain, fear, and anxiety. With men, it could be some type of erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, also fear and anxiety. And so, if for whatever those reasons, or it could be something completely different, like back pain.
Yeah.
If I've had a back injury and now I'm trying to like still hang from the chandeliers when I was 20, and I can't
Mhm.
I can't bridge the two of like that sexual person and this body that I have now, then I might stay away from sex. And so
Mhm.
in a case like that, I want to encourage a couple that I want to say this. I want to say so many things, but I'm going to say this. Sex is more than a penis going in the vagina, or a penis going into a cavity. So whether it's a lesbian couple, a heterosexual couple, or a gay male couple, it's so much more than erect penis going into a hole somewhere. And so let's make it more than that. So if those things are off the um, docket for whatever reason, they're off the docket. What can we do together to still have that physical contact? And so, like some of my couples, we've had them just start to lay together naked with each other and just have that skin to skin contact. And then let's make sure we do that weekly. And then let's include some rubbing in that. And then let's see where that will go. And
Mhm.
then we can amp it up and maybe we can add some oral sex to that. Like we don't have to have an erect penis and a wet vagina to have a wonderful sexual experience. We can have
Yeah.
a wonderful experience and it may not include those things. And if it's like, no, I gotta have it, then okay, then maybe we need to add some things. So if we gotta have a vaginal canal, and so let me educate on that. You can make an opening with multiple parts of your body. If so for females, uh you can do breast, mouth, arms, legs. Like there's so many places and ways when you can make like a cavity or something for that partner essentially put their penis in.
Mhm.
So with that, um, and for females, most females have a orgasm with their clitoris anyway. And so no matter what's going on with the penis, that's not a reason for a female not to have an orgasm. But if you're like, oh, I really, really, really want to feel a penis, okay, then let's get a strap on, let's get a dildo, let's get a vibrator, let's do something, but make sure you're still doing activities with your partner. And you haven't said, oh, okay, they can't get an erect dick, so we're not gonna do anything, and I'm just gonna go use my vibrator. Because we don't have to do that. You can still come together and figure out how we're going to make it work. What gets in the way of that most of all is people's insecurities. Oh, I should be able to do this and I can't do that, so I'm not going to do anything. Or they're hurt. A lot of females still struggle, even though they know their husbands having medical issues. Diabetes plays into that, high blood pressure plays into that, age plays into that. And even though they know emotions, most men will identify the older they are, the more their emotions are tied to their dick. And so if they're highly stressed, they might not want to be sexual with that. And females may know this, but there's still something that says, oh, he must not be attracted to me because his dick isn't getting hard.
Yeah.
Even if they know it's a medical thing, they know there's still something inside of them that'll say he must not be attracted to me. So then they started feeling bad, and they're warring with themselves, heart versus mind, and it pulls the couples apart. So I really want to encourage people to have a conversation and say, hey, I know this is going on with us. I know this is going on with us, but I don't want to say goodbye to our sex life completely. We need to figure out how to do sex differently. So if that's us scissoring each other in bed, if that's us mutually masturbating each other, if that is us just giving each others like massages, like touching, but make sure you have that physical component in your relationship. Okay. All right. What else, Jessica, is coming up for you? I'm gonna mute myself.
And when you say sexless, I want couples to know that doesn't mean that it's gone forever. It's just you guys working your way up to getting a more comfortable, intimate, physical state. And also, a lot of times I see couples when you talked about we're going to be in a companionship, they can just be getting over infidelity to where you guys are probably back in the home, back together, even going on dates, what have you. But when it gets to that physical standpoint, it's like the wall goes up because you haven't fully let go of that infidelity or whatever rough patch
Yes,
that you guys
yes,
just got over.
yeah. I always feel like, and I felt like this for years, it's kind of the hardest part of my job is to, because this is kind of how I always see it. Oh, it's so hard. Um, an affair sometimes, infidelity sometimes, a lot of times, I say it's almost like somebody ran somebody over with a car.
Mhm.
And what we have to do is have those two people, the person who's in a full body cast and hurt and devastated, along with the person who hurt them, sit down and then come together and be a unified unit again. And so there's a lot of work to do in that. And then there comes a point when I have to turn to the person who's been hurt, the victim, the betrayed party, and say, now I have to have you do the work to get better, to heal your heart. Sometimes it's acting in faith. Sometimes it's a fake it till you make it. But it's a very real, like there's got to be energy put into your healing, and you've got to do it. Nobody can do it for you. And that's a real hard, I think, bitter pill to swallow. You hurt my heart, but I'm the one who has to heal my heart. Yeah. Just like if I broke your leg, Addison, I'm sorry, Jessica. You're the one who has to be in physical therapy, strengthening that leg again.
Yeah,
I can't do it for you, even though I was the at fault party. I can
yeah,
apologize. I can sit by you. I can drive you to physical therapy every day and show you that I'm supportive, but you're the one who's in there having to do the work.
mhm,
And when you decide to stay with your partner, you decide to do that work. I know it's in the small print. And
mhm.
nobody said that, but it's you are deciding to do that work. And so oftentimes I think so there's the other part of this. People won't stay in the doghouse forever. They won't. And so we also have to balance their broken heart with pushing them to heal, with not beating up their partner too much, with to get the unit back together. And so it's a delicate balance of when to push, when to stop, when to be patient, when to push again. So, okay. All right. Moving back to us, and for that time period, I think some marriages will be sexless for a little while. And we as therapists, at least in our practice, we usually encourage them to find how to be intimate with each other again. So sex might not be there, but can y'all watch a movie together? Can y'all have a conversation together? Can y'all start to rebuild that bond?
Mhm.
So what are the things y'all did before that had you guys become bonded to each other enough to want to marry each other? Can we go back and do those things? And so like we're rebuilding the relationship like
And
that.
I
And you
think
can find,
intimacy is better than sex for me. I think that's like the core because
mhm,
sex is like so tangible. You can watch it. You can see something get turned on. Sex is more tangible than intimacy, I feel like, for couples. Because a lot of
mhm.
people aren't connected. You can have sex with somebody and still not trust them, still not be connected to them. So
Yes.
it's like, why is it so pinpointed on sex? And I think some people
Mhm.
think sex and intimacy are the same. And it's not
Yeah.
one and the same. So when you have a sexless marriage, okay, physically you guys are sexless, but we cuddle every night. We feel good with my skin touching their skin. I feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel protected and being vulnerable with this person. Whereas the other one, I might have sex with you, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you to move in with you. I don't trust you to marry you, but I
Right.
can have sex with you.
You're not the one I'm taking to my mama's house. I don't
Oh
trust you in
no,
my
I
mama's
see you
house.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, later
Right.
on.
That's very,
So
very
yeah.
true. Yeah. Okay. I think the other thing I want people to know with sexless marriage, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but that's not a decision you need to make in isolation. Just, oh, I'm not going to have sex anymore, or I'm just going to ignore all of their sexual advances. Your partner will be hurt um, because they will feel like, okay, this person doesn't love me. Specifically, I've heard in heterosexual relationships, I've heard men say things like, oh, she just married me to be married. Oh, she just married me to have
Hmm.
children. Oh, she just married me for the house and the white picket fence so that she can say she's married. She doesn't love me. She
Hmm.
can replace me with any man. It wouldn't have mattered. I just happened to be the one at the time when she was ready. Like, she doesn't love me. And
Hmm.
so when you feel that way, that somebody doesn't love you, then you're looking at your partner differently, and you're going to handle them differently, and your responsibility to them is going to feel different. And so I just want women to be aware of that. I've had, and it's always so heartbreaking. We've had over the years calls, and it's because they're eerily like kind of the same conversation. My husband and I haven't had sex somewhere between 6 and 14 years. Like
Ooh.
and he just told me that he's leaving our relationship. We need to come in. Oh, he just told you he's leaving the relationship? Okay. What
Um,
happened? Well, I just thought he was okay. Okay. How
hear
did
that
you
a lot.
did y'all have a conversation about that? And so in his when so if they do come in as a couple, then I it's usually something like, I love her. I love the family that we've built together. I love our lifestyle, but I'm a good man and I don't want to be in a sexless marriage for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. And clearly, she doesn't like sex. She doesn't want to be sexual. And I'm not trying to change anybody, but there are people out here who want to be sexual and they want to be sexual with me. So I'm going to go find those people. Sometimes I may have already found that person
Mhm.
with that, which is why I finally gave them the courage to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And that's just so sad because it's really hard to convince somebody that if you haven't done something in 14 years, that you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are really, really hard cases. Those are really, really
Yeah.
hard cases. And so I just want to encourage everybody, if you decide we're not going to have sex, I don't want to have sex anymore, like just don't let it fall off to the wayside and be like, oh, I guess they okay because they ain't saying nothing. it's in my experience, it's something that's gonna come bite you on the butt later on down the road. Like it's not something to be ignored, male and female. And so I haven't had a lot of cases where the female is like, and I'm leaving because we're not having sex. Actually, I have had a couple of cases like that. Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry to leave y'all out. But I have had a couple of cases like that. Like I'm not gonna continue to live like this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to fix it, you know. And that's usually it's usually has been some type of medical something that has happened. And it's not that they don't love their husbands, they feel like their husbands aren't working on the problem. Like,
Yeah.
we got a problem. We're not having sex because you got this medical issue and you're not working on it. You just shut down and got silent, which is what a lot of men do. Because what do? I was born with this dick. I'm supposed to be able to use it. Every other man can use his dick. I can't use mine, so I don't want to deal with it. And so they get silent. And so then their wives are usually sitting in my office saying, I don't know what to do. I love him. I don't want to leave him, but I don't want to. I'm not ready to give up sex. Like I'm not ready to give that up.
Yeah.
And so having them be in that conversation or listen to their wives is something that I wish I could make magically happen. It feels like pulling teeth. I mean, I get it because you know, what man just want to sit and talk about his dick not working. Um, but I would love men to be courageous and say, okay, just because my star player right here, don't mean I'm a forfeit the game. I'm gonna stay in the game. I'm gonna find a way. We can still be sexual. I got hands, I got a mouth, I got a whole body that can please. We can still find a way. Like if I gotta get toys or strap on, like I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make my woman happy and satisfied. And so I would love for men to be able to take that on. And so if any man is out there hearing me, please take that on.
Yeah.
Please take that attitude on and make sure you're having a conversation with your partner. So, okay. What else, Jessica, before we jump off?
Two things when you talk about men, because I know we don't also talk about men a lot, but when you talk about doing the work, it's just like when I see men going to the gym and they have the little belt waist things and they have their jug of water, they have their ankle weights, all those things you need. You don't want anybody to think that you're weak, but these are the things you need to become stronger. And in
Yeah.
therapy is a part of fitness, it's a part of self-care. So take it just like going to the gym, you're putting in that work. So if you need
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z to make something work, to get better at it, to be comfortable, so you can gain more, what we call strength training or strength
Mm-hmm.
resistance, this is what you need mentally because your brain is the most powerful muscle
Mm-hmm.
as well. And also, we're all about communication, compromise, having those conversations, hard conversations,
Yeah.
but also, do you like who you are in that relationship? If you are
Ooh.
okay with being sexless, so you can explore who
Mm-hmm.
you are without that physical element in the equation, then okay, let's do that. But if you know to the core that I need sex, because if not, I'm going to be this person who's going to go behind your back, find sex from other areas, from
Mm-hmm.
other people, and then it's going to be another elephant in the room of jealousy,
Yeah.
infidelity, then get out of that relationship. It's going to be hard. If this was
Mm-hmm.
a relationship that was easy to jump in and jump out of, it wouldn't be worth it. But you have to kind of cut your losses to try to remain who you are. 'Cause you don't want to lose yourself.
Yeah. And I think, do you got a 10 o'clock?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. So I think that's been a very interesting dynamic throughout the years when I've
Mhm.
sat with men and women and they've been like, I never in a million years thought I would be a person that cheated on my partner. Help me figure out why I did it. Like that's not who I ever wanted to be or ever saw myself being. And I absolutely love those conversations. Um, because because it is I think I love when people in general are like, I need to understand myself. I want to grow. I thought I was a better person than I was. I want to grow. I want to become the person I know myself to be. I remember this guy one time. He was like, he was like, but I wouldn't cheat. I would just tell her I would leave. I would just leave the relationship. I wouldn't cheat because I'm, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, but you did cheat. And so now you are untrustworthy. And just him hearing that and having to sit with that of I did not honor my own word to myself. Like it just when we sat with it, just kind of rocked him like never in a million years. And then
Yeah.
figuring, kind of tracing back and figuring out how did I get here? How did I get here? What happened? And being able to have those conversations is so I love therapy. I love human beings. I love that growth and that change and those having those hard conversations of figuring out ourselves. Because I think all of us think that we're better people than we actually are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think we don't actually know who we are until we come into a very hard situation. And so I just want to tell you guys that if you're struggling with a sexless marriage, we are here to listen and we are here to help you find your way back to each other. If it's a situation where you need to find back to each other, or if it's a situation of we got all these medical things that are getting in our way, help us figure out how to navigate this. Because sometimes the answer is really easy, but the couple is so steeped in their hurt and their pain, they can't see the easy answer. And so I remember, for example, I had one couple one time and I was like, why don't y'all just use a strap on? Like, what are we doing? Why don't y'all just use, and both of them were like, oh, we never thought about that. We just never thought about that. I was like, so I think that solves the problem. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to you for the rest of the situation, the rest of this session, because I need you to go home and try that and come back and tell me, does that fix the problem?
Yeah.
Another couple, I was able to say, I don't understand, why don't y'all just use a titty fuck when the vaginal canal is inflamed or something? We can't use that. And they were
Or the
like,
simplest thing of pillows.
right,
Put pillows underneath you.
yeah.
Different positions.
Position,
Like,
a hard back chair. Like I can't have sex laying down anymore because my back does not allow me to lay down comfortably. Okay, so
mm,
let's get a hardback chair from the kitchen and work that thing out. And so but people they'll get caught up. We included. We'll have something in our
mm,
life and we'll get caught up. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it this way. Because I can't do it this way, we don't take a minute to look up to see all of the many ways that I could do it and make it
yeah.
work. And so I think that's what we do a lot of times with our clients is say, okay, but what about this way? Oh, but what about this way? Oh, but what about this way? And that couple that I was like, I don't understand why y'all just don't do a titty fuck. Or is a titty fuck possible? Like, is that, oh, we used to do that. We could do that. They just had gotten so caught up into what we can't do now. They forgot
mm,
what they used to do and what they could do. So, so if you want sex in your marriage, have the conversation with your partner. If you're one of those people who've been suffering silent, don't suffer in silence. You've got to say it out loud, and then y'all can go from there. And if you're a partner, you're decided, okay, sex isn't for me. I don't want this in my relationship. You got to say that out loud and let your partner make appropriate decisions for themselves.
mhm.
It's like, yeah, don't just, string them along for 10 years because you're gonna be shocked and amazed when they walk through their door and they're just like, nope, I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's hard in all of those cases where like the husband has said, I'm not willing to do this. It's been so hard to get them back in the boat. Like they basically, by the time they say it out loud, they've been thinking about it for a while, a long while,
Yeah.
and have thought about it, the consequences, and are fully ready to make that decision. So,
And they're too far gone. And one thing they would say,
yeah.
how did you not know? And then, because you didn't tell me. You couldn't tell from me doing this. You can't be
Mhm.
silent because the silent can go on for so much to when it
Yeah,
finally is vocal, it's gonna be like the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's gonna be this
yeah,
big explosion.
yeah.
And yeah.
And that's what it is. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
and I will say one of my kind of personal pet peeves is when people don't let their partner know what's going on and they get caught off guard.
Mm,
And so it needs to be some type of escalation. I feel like kind of like at work, you get a verbal, then you get a
yeah.
written, then you get fired. And
Hmm.
so I would love for couples to think about it like that. I would love couples to be able to say, hey, I'm not gonna be okay with this sex thing. I'm not gonna live the rest of my life without sex when there's so many people in this world I could be having sex with who would like to have sex with me. So we need to work on this. And then if it doesn't get worked on 6 months, a year later, hey, this is the second time. And I know it feels crass and rude, but if we can't figure out this sex thing, then I don't want to hurt you. And I know you don't want to be hurt. We're going to have to figure out something. And so, like one of my couples said, either we're going to be married, single, we go get a divorce, we go co-parent, like we're gonna do something, but I'm not about to do this for the rest of my life. And so then that can be more of a negotiation. And then that third time, okay, we've been working on this and it ain't got any better, or we haven't been working on this, or I don't feel like you paid attention, or like, and then, and because I always want people to know what's coming, you know,
Hmm.
like when you get fired from a job, you, I don't want
You already
anybody to be
know.
get caught off guard. Like I had no idea. I want people to be like, yeah, I knew it was an issue, and yeah, I knew I hadn't gotten it better, and it kept happening, and so it makes sense to me. So, all right, those are my 2 cents on sexless marriage. Any last comments, Jessica, before we say goodbye to the people?
No, not really. Have a happy fourth.
Yeah, have a happy 4th of July. Talk, 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 talk to your partner, and just y'all have a great day. All right, bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our content today. We are here at Atlanta Sex Therapy to serve. If you did like our content, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Also, click the little bell so you can get notifications when we put new videos out. People don't know what sex therapists do, and we're trying to get the information out there and spread the word. So I'm going to ask you to send this to 3 people because you never know who may be in need of more good information about sex. Thank you, and just have a wonderful day.